listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. I'm with Emily, Dean and Alun Cochrane this morning. You can text the show, why don't you, on 8 12 15. You can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or you can email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Ran out of moisture about halfway through that. Yeah, terrible moment. That must have sounded awful.
Would you like to hear an example of some of the contributions you could make?
Yes.
Sounds a bit children in need, but this is from Paul Blackmore, who's tweeted us. Mm-hmm. And he's enclosed a review.
He's enclosed?
Yes, he's enclosed currently. No, there's a review of your show. Would you like to hear it?
I don't do reviews.
Well, I do, so bad luck. Frank Skinner, the godfather of modern smutty stand-up, left, nice picture, is older, wiser, and still as sharp as ever. Oh, it ended okay. Don't you think?
Yeah, I still feel a bit soiled.
Well,
how do you think we feel after the last 20 years?
No, I guess about time I sorted myself out.
I don't know if this will counterbalance it in some way, but we've had an email titled "Free Lions on my cornflakes packet." Hey,
Free Lions.
Hi, Frank and team. Just wanted to say thanks to Frank for his tremendous performance reading CBeebies bedtime stories last week. He was friendly and charming, happily answering my inane questions, as I just about managed to keep my genuine superfan status under wraps. And as I'd suggested him as a reader in the first place, many thanks for ensuring my professional integrity remains intact. Have a well-earned humbug, Matt. What is that all about?
Well, this week I went and recorded some bedtime stories.
Excellent.
For CBeebies.
But these haven't got out yet, have they?
They haven't got out yet.
Oh, good. I thought I'd missed them.
No.
How are the stories?
Well, they were very good. I have to introduce them by saying stuff like, "Hello, I'm Frank."
Excellent.
Yeah, a bit like that. And then you don't just read the story. You say, "I've got a story for you today that." It'll show them what a lovely thing a birthday present can be.
Yeah.
And so it's all stuff like that.
I think you should start the show like that.
I think maybe you're right. I've been looking for an ending for a new ending for the show.
Yes.
The way you end these is you do the story and then you say, so, you see, a bucket can be a lovely present. Anyway, I think you lot should be getting off to bed. Maybe I could do something that
slightly weird at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday.
A lot of our listeners should be getting off to bed.
Yeah, bear in mind, we have
siestas.
a lot of people with terrible drink problems listen to the show. Who I imagine do get up and then go back to bed and then get up again and go back to bed again.
That's certainly my MO.
Can't think why that's your demographic, Frank.
No, I can't either. I've tried not to drag them in. But no, it was very, very enjoyable work. Yeah, it was. Because I've been rehearsing accidentally with my own child. Mm-hmm.
What's the other stories then?
I did. There's a Lion in My Cornflakes.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Hector and the Big Bad Night.
Nice.
We've all had them.
Don't like the sound of that.
And then there was Russell the Sheep. We've all done that. And well, no one cares what they were, but anyway, they were lovely. The children will care.
The last one, what was it? The First Testament, wasn't it? It was a really long one that you did that night. Just the whole of the First Testament.
It's the First Testament. This is when an atheist tries to do a Bible joke.
That's not what they call it.
First Testament.
What was it called then?
It's called the Old Testament.
That's right. Yeah. Same difference, isn't it?
No, but can I say
potato?
Can I say anyone who endeavours to keep the word old out of this studio?
Yes, respect for that. Actually, speaking of my son, he said something this week which made me think I could use as an ending for the show.
Oh yeah.
I spoke to him on the phone from a dressing room. You know when mom puts child on phone.
Yeah.
And after about 30 seconds, he said, "I want to say goodbye now." That might be a good ending for the show.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Guess what? Happened to me this week. First one of the year.
What?
Wasn't
alcoholic drink.
It's a laugh. Alcoholic drink. Yeah, it was
first one of the year. My eye.
Oh God, I wonder where that was going. I got my first Christmas present.
Oh.
Already?
Lovely. What
And
was it?
Well, it was actually from. Hold on, it's from one of our readers.
No.
Yeah,
I like the sound effects, right?
This is a letter being opened.
Yeah.
This is
Radio 4 play.
BBC drama.
Yeah.
David, what is that? Oh, there was a letter from. Well, let me read it to you. So it's from.
Can't stop him acting since the Doctor Who.
He loves it.
God,
Can't
that's
stop
it.
him.
He loves
God,
the sound effects.
it's in my blood now.
It is.
I've got. It's from Chris 240 and Joe 529. It's from two of our listeners, and I'm going to do one of those rarest of all things, a reveal on radio.
Oh, go on then.
Oh.
Okay. So you'll have to paint a word picture for the guys.
Oh, excellent. Frank has removed from his bag and placed upon his head a leather Christmas hat.
Yes.
It's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
Can you not?
Emily has
someone made
attacked
this for
Frank's
me.
gift. Well, I don't need to narrate anymore.
You don't need to narrate the vocal bits.
I'm utterly speechless.
Lovely.
I think it looks lovely.
No,
You know what I said?
it's not lovely.
I said I think I
Very
look good.
fetching.
I look good in a Christmas hat, but I
Yes.
find them a bit flimsy.
Yes.
And I said what I'd like to do is get a it's hard to keep them around the whole year round. I
Yeah.
find they come apart at the seam very often. And I said what I'd like is a leather one. You know, it was a bit. It was
Yeah.
durable. And then
You request gold.
it is gold.
It is
isn't
gold. It's mustardy.
That's not gold.
What is it? Is it mustard?
Yellow. He looks ridiculous.
yellow
He's got a
gold.
yellow leather hat on.
That's all
I
right.
can see
It's not
that.
all right, Frank.
But compared to a conventional Christmas hat, it looks sturdy. It's a hardy perennial
Well,
of the
that's
Christmas
my point.
hat.
I'll be able to
Christmas
wear
hat
it
world.
at Easter, when of
Oh.
course it will represent the crown of thorns. Yeah, it's very flexible.
It is.
Can I ask you a serious question? Do you think that suits you?
Yeah,
Genuinely.
yeah, I do.
Genuinely think you look nice in that.
Don't you think I look?
I think you should wear it all the time.
I think if you two held me upside down, I could make pastry shapes
Yeah.
with my head.
Yeah.
Frank,
Shall we do that?
please don't wear
People
that.
have said this show should go more cookie cutter, haven't they? But that's
Have they said that?
no.
Can I give
Not at all.
you one piece of style advice? If you are going to persist in wearing it,
Yeah.
there's a giant seam down the centre.
Yes.
Go off centre with the seam.
Yeah. I
Where
think you
is
should
it at
put
the
that
moment?
Like
put
when
that
one
at
wears
the
a
back of your
beanie.
head.
Let me readjust. I'll have to take my headphones off. So
Frank is now readjusting. Oh,
I'm
You
readjusting.
don't need
The seam has now gone to the back.
brilliant.
Okay.
Seamlessly done.
There you go. There you go. I'm wearing headphones with it as well. I
Yeah.
think it's lovely, and I'd like to thank Chris and Joe. They say please find enclosed said leather faux in brackets faux leather Christmas hat. I think they mean faux leather instead of faux Christmas.
I think it's definitely faux leather, yes.
He says, I hope the circumference is sufficient, because I did point out that I've got a big head and often people aim low. It's a good...
In fairness, it looks quite snug.
It is a good fit. It's not too tight. Lovely. He says, I took the dimensions from the cranium of Henry Hoover.
Excellent.
He says in brackets, other vacuum cleaners are available.
Oh.
Please tweet a picture wearing the leather Christmas hat. It would be great to see. So we'll do that.
We're all over the social
Oh, we're not going to
media.
keep this one to ourselves.
You know me, I'm Mr. Social Media.
Aren't you?
Yeah, it's hyphenated in case you want to send me a Christmas card.
And now with the Christmas hat and the headphones on, you do look a bit like sort of human buckaroo. There's a lot of stuff balanced on you today.
Yeah. Human
I'll tell you what, you
buckaroos.
look astonishing.
Thank you very much. I think you're warming to it now that it was the seam, wasn't it? That was what was putting you off. You'd have been hopeless in the mining industry.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, there's been some reaction to your crown.
Oh yeah, popular.
Well, make of this what you will. We have someone called Arundel Spy who says King Rollo springs to mind.
Oh yes, King Rollo. Forgot about him.
Mike Finley says Frank's head now looks a bit like a broken pencil.
Yes, I can see that.
Brian says the style is perfect, just not your colour. And
Oh.
Paul Banks
Goes with my
says...
teeth.
someone else has said that, but I chose not to share that
okay,
with you.
nice.
Paul Banks has said Burger King promotion, Frank.
The World of Leather Burger King Co-Pro. I wonder if World of Leather do Christmas hats.
I don't know, but if they did, they'd look a lot like that.
That's this week's phone-in. This is faux, remember. No animals were killed in the making of this hat.
Yes, exactly.
Let's all celebrate that.
Thank heavens for that.
Yeah. So I watched... I was on Jonathan Ross this week.
Oh, I watched it. See, the truth's come out now.
Oh, did you?
He watched it. Oh, I watched it, yeah.
I watched it. I did that on the Saturday, and then on the Monday I was on the One Show, because I'm selling stuff, you know.
Yeah. Got
And-
units to shift.
Yeah, and it was... I've got eunuchs to shift, actually. I'm actually doing a eunuch hire service.
You were
Because there's a lot of
actually-
mistrust now in relationships, and I find a eunuch just makes things easier.
Absolutely.
So I do a eunuch au pairs.
Yeah.
Well, they're more sans pairs. But I love that joke. There isn't enough French comedy on this show. Yeah, I realised in retrospective that on the two shows I managed to name check Gracie Fields and Petula Clark.
On each of them.
Well, no, one on
Different.
each. I think I
Yes.
need to upgrade.
Change your references.
I need to go more menage.
I liked it when you mentioned Gracie Fields.
Yes, but I don't know if most people know who she is, or Petula Clark for that matter. Sad to say. But you know what the youth's like now, they don't care about the past.
I thought you were very good on Jonathan Ross's
Thank
show.
you, but let's not lapse into praise.
Oh, no, there's no danger of me doing that. I like it when you're on a high-rating terrestrial show, because I get some of the attention by proxy.
Oh, I
Because they
see.
know you don't tweet, you see, so they tweet me.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm sorry to use you as some sort of agency.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one of the difficult things about Jonathan's show is that sitting in the green room thing. You know they
The on-screen
yeah.
green
you know they
room.
cut to the guests.
Yeah.
So you really
You're
feel
compelled to look like you're having a good time.
well.
That's what-
It's not so much that you're not having a good time, but you know when you're watching the telly at home, you're probably not visibly responding to how much you're enjoying it. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
You're just
yeah,
sitting
yeah.
there, and probably your face is at rest. You probably look awful at home.
Especially if you've got bitchy resting face like me.
But you know, even like Goggle. Yes, well,
yeah.
yeah. Come to think, I hadn't thought of that. I don't know how I'd describe my resting face. One never sees one's own resting.
I'd
face.
say you've got humble resting face.
Humble.
Humble, he'll take that.
That's good.
Alan
yes.
Cochrane?
Hard to carry off humble whilst wearing a crown, mind you, but that's... but you're doing it. You're doing it well.
Well, I'm more sort of Edward the Confessor, that kind of king, benevolent despot. That's what I'm after. So look, I'm after in this hat. Yeah, so caring monarch. This is my caring monarch
Yeah,
hat.
I like it.
So yeah, so you find yourself watching it, but being aware of yourself at the same time, which is a very odd. It's quite hard work. That it's like, you know, when you get football fans and their team has been relegated, and they are aware of the cameras are going to be on them, so they start looking really sad and maybe crying a bit because they
Right.
want to. And actually, you know, they are upset, but they're not. They don't really feel like crying, but they do. They put that on a
little bit of
for
a
the
show.
cameras. Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Lily Allen got criticised for turning her back to you.
Yeah,
Apparently.
well, she did turn her back to me, but she then turned around after about a minute and a half and said, "Oh God, sorry, I've really got my back to you. Sorry about that." So,
Oh, good. We'll let her
yeah,
off then.
yeah. So, yeah, it's okay. I did think that a bit at first, but then I did think about 20 seconds, thinking, "Well, great back."
Oh, yeah.
I really like women's backs, and I've seen a lot of them over the years. No, I mean, I've been left a lot. That's what I meant. And, yeah.
See how that could be misconstrued.
There
though.
was I was watching the West Brom game at the weekend on the telly, and there's a guy, when they had the Remembrance Minute silence, he just held up this scarf, you know, baggies, stood there really solemn. It was quite a sort of dramatic moment. The cameras were straight in there. And then his son was really excitedly shaking his arm and pointing at the fact they were on the big screen. And the dad's going, "Oh, leave it." Completely ruined the drama of it. And that's what I love about people. They're so real.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
I'll tell you one thing about doing the one show is I got quite a lot of fluff off of Podsy.
Oh, did you? When did you do the one show
It's
then?
molting. When did I do it? Monday.
Oh, okay.
But they'd dressed the sofas in Podsy's pelt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was actually the skin of him.
But it's highly flammable.
Is it?
No, they must have given it some kind of treatment.
I imagine.
On a
I
set.
can't believe Podsy is flammable. I mean, that could drag the whole thing down if he went up in flames. Imagine.
I just thought he was onesie fabric. And I know to my own cost that's highly flammable.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know that, though. Whether it is Podsy flammable, that's our texting.
8, 12, 15.
Well, I met Podsy last Friday
How was
live.
he? I haven't seen him for a while. How is he?
I saw him yesterday in a motorway services. Didn't even speak.
Oh.
That's so showbiz, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Just see blank.
Short memories in show business.
I
isn't
know.
it?
I
mean,
hate people like
that's
that.
the other eye's gone. They're keeping it quiet. But yeah, completely.
Could have just
black
popped a
man.
monocle over it or something, couldn't they?
They meet you on a night out. Next time they see you, it's like they never met you. Who is he? James Corden?
Yeah. So that was strange. There was the reason I met him on the previous Friday is I did a gig in Cheltenham, and they asked me they're doing this thing, the rickshaw challenge on the one show. You aware of the rickshaw
I'm
challenge?
not aware of much
What
of
it is,
one show.
Rick Shaw is a martial arts expert.
Is
so,
he?
Yeah, so for children in need, he fights sometimes as many as 17, 18 children at a time.
Right.
He's telling one of his
In
lies.
unarmed
Excellent.
combat.
I'm
And people bet on it, and then 10% of all their stakes go to children in need.
that sounds excellent.
Yeah,
All right.
obviously. I mean, he's
Can I
quite...
get this on YouTube during the next song?
Yes.
Sounds good.
I've got the link here somewhere. No, the rickshaw channel, they have to take a rickshaw from...
they ride it around, do they?
from Salford to Walford.
Ah, yes, I do know of this.
So one of these guys came in, and he's a nice chap called Alex, and he's
They're all called that on the one show.
yeah, and he's he's had quite a hard life, and he came on and he had to do a speech in front of the crowd, and he did very well, and he got massive cheers, and loads of people gave money, which was great. And then when I went on the one show, they showed the film of it, and then Matt Baker said to the kid, he said, "What do you think of Frank's show?" And he said, "It's quite funny, but it's not my kind of comedy." Oh. Oh, okay. So, that's the do-gooding finish for me.
Yeah, indeed.
I don't know how Geldof and Bono cope with it all the time.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We've had a text in, as people know, they can text on 8, 12, 15.
Good
This is
work.
from Joe 529. Don't know if that name rings a bell to you.
Yes. Is that my milliner?
It's one of your milliners, one of your many milliners.
Oh, Kate Middleton over there.
It's Joe 529.
Yellow leather hat.
May I say what a joy to hear the hat revealed live. Also, coming to see you at Sheffield, Frank, this month. Maybe wear the hat on stage to help boost interest in our festive leather business.
Maybe don't.
Whoa, hold on. Festive leather business. I believe the leather Christmas hat was my idea, was it not? Based on the fact that the Christmas hat is something I look good in, and it's... is this a case of I'm having that?
I think it might be, yeah.
I'm having hat.
Yeah.
Oh, no, the whole thing now has been marred in some way. It's been Andrew marred.
Oh, dear.
I made the point last night in Margate that if Andrew Marr was involved in a terrible scandal, it would be called Margate.
Very good.
Yeah.
Quality local.
How did that go for you?
Oh, they absolutely rose out of their seats, and many of them sat down again.
The rest just kept going, did they?
Just left.
After they
Didn't come for a wordplay about where I live.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've been everywhere.
Hasn't he?
Jonathan Ross,
It's
one
about.
show.
Oh, it's
You get
been.
to
Oh,
that.
and I did some absolute work.
Oh, lovely. What was that?
There was a Q&A.
Mm-hmm.
In a nice hotel.
I don't like anything with Q in it.
Yes.
Nice hotel.
Well, it was and it was Jeff Lloyd,
Yes, I love Jeff Lloyd.
Absolute Radio's Jeff Lloyd
Lloyd, yes.
interviewed
Love him.
Frank Skinner's Absolute Radio. Now, well, that was
Interesting syntax.
That was a Freudian, slip. And no, he interviewed me and Planet Rock's Al Murray.
Oh, the landlord.
Yeah, he interviewed everybody loves the landlord. Cockneys, ladies and gentlemen.
Good.
I think his
how
act
they talk.
has changed since I last saw him.
Cockney singing has a sort of Doppler effect to it. You know when the Doppler effect when a siren goes
siren,
past.
yeah.
yeah.
And that sort of warble.
Yes.
Everybody loves the landlord. It's the Cockney effect.
Imagine if I did this about Birmingham's, you would go crazy.
Well, the thing is, you see, it's like you can take the mickey out of the Americans, but
Yeah.
you can't take the mickey out of the
Let's
Lithuanians.
not go there.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? Because there is no one mightier, is there, than the Cockneys in this country
Yeah.
as a regional.
I love the fact that Emily got defensive on behalf of Cockneys. It's like you're here.
This is our manner.
All right.
No, no.
Speak on behalf of all Cockneys.
I love Cockneys.
I don't.
I think they've
No, I
encouraged
do.
people to eat more fruit over the years. Otherwise, scurvy would be rife in
True.
this
Yeah.
country.
Anyway, your interview with Jeff.
And
I was recently
thanks for all the
interviewed.
cab rides.
Indeed. I was recently interviewed by Jeff. How did it go? It was good fun. Nice.
It was, yeah. Were you interviewed on the?
I was on his little programme, yeah. when
I
I was,
read, by the way, I read an interview with you recently.
Did
in
you?
which you picked your favourite comedians, and everyone was American.
Yes.
Really?
I thought I hate that.
Well, you hate that because you
might
weren't
as well.
in it.
You might as well have been interviewed and said British comedy, it's rubbish.
No, there was partly a method to my madness
Was
there.
there?
Because I
Was
thought,
there?
if I put one Brit in, then I'm going to end up with people like you texting saying, "Oh, so you didn't pick me." Like, my mates are going to...
This wasn't a personal thing. I was defending a
come.
whole nation's tradition.
Can I be
No.
honest? Next time, just pick him.
Actually, there's a
It'll
couple
save us all so much stress.
There's a couple of Canadians in there. I
Me
think.
specifically.
Canadians has gone that
Oh,
far.
Canadians.
Yeah, Norm Macdonald was in there. I just thought it was so box set. Have you seen Breaking Bad? America's better. Do you remember that? Do you remember that episode of Seinfeld? Do you remember that thing in The Simpsons? What is it with you people? Just move there. Honestly.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Tremendous news. Jermaine has been found. Daisy's partner didn't come home
He
last
went
night.
missing. It was a bit odd,
Yeah.
if I'm going to be honest.
I
Very odd.
was being blasé and saying I'm sure it's fine, but inside I was convinced he was dead.
Yes.
Frank!
And I thought,
No, I was
this
really
is gonna...
worried.
I was properly worried.
Me too.
I mean,
I thought it
this whole
said a lot
first-
about us, how we all dealt with it. I think I was the voice of reassurance.
Yeah.
You just looked horrified. You couldn't mask it at all.
I couldn't hide it. I put on a brave face on the radio for you people.
Yeah.
But
Alan tried to be laddie, Frank.
I don't think I did.
No, you did. You said,
Don't
he's probably
think-
gone out for some drinks with the lads.
Well, yeah.
We've all done it.
Brave
Yeah.
face. I was brave facing it.
Oh, thank God he's been found. Dearie me.
And obviously
And
a
now
little bit...
he's come up with some cock and balls. Phone died, Grandma's house. I mean, come on. Anyway, we're not here to discuss our personal life. Oh, so we are.
So we're here to discuss other people's personal lives.
Oh yes, well I love doing that more than most. So yes, I did a Q&A with Al Murray and Jeff Lloyd.
Some interesting questions, if
Yes,
I'm not mistaken.
I have the list of the questions which I gave to Emily and Alun
Yes.
to see what their responses
Can't
might
say I'm
be.
delighted about all of them.
Okay, what don't you like?
Oh, well, let's go straight to question number 4. Fantasy sidekick. If death and money were no object, who would you choose as your co-presenter?
That's
Yeah.
so rude.
Isn't it rude, that?
Kim Jong-un.
Can I say first of all, I never use the word sidekick, and I make that absolutely clear. I see you as co-presenters.
What did you say?
I said Christian O'Connell just to make it absolutely clear what the seniority roles are. But obviously I wouldn't change you two for all the tea in... Where does tea come from? I've never
Good question.
Isn't it more Sri Lanka?
Yeah,
For
Sri
the
Lanka.
tea in Sri Lanka. Yeah.
Sidekick from hell. Question number 5.
Lucifer, I went for.
Did you?
Who
Yeah.
would you least like to have as your co-presenter? Imagine he said me. Oh.
Well, Al said me.
Did he?
But he said it in a slightly tetchy way, which I'm still hurting from. Because he said, well, you, I think, so, can't get a word in edgeways. It's all a bit,
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, and he's quite a big man.
Mm-hmm.
But we were all right after, I think. But I think, when I'm interviewed, I get, there was a crowd, I got excited.
Yeah.
And
Turned it
he
on.
kept butting in.
Oh,
Who did
dear.
Al?
Yeah.
I think you'll find that's
Well,
called talking.
Yeah, I think that was his questions as well, looking back. 'Cause they were asked to both of us. Oh, I'll tell you what I did have an interesting thing happen. They said, where would you most like to do your outside broadcast from?
Fantasy outside broadcast.
Yes, and
I've seen that film.
I was a bit lost on that one because I've never really. It doesn't seem to matter. And then I thought Gulliver's Kingdom.
Oh.
Do you know Gulliver's Kingdom?
I know Gulliver's Travels.
Gulliver's Kingdom. Have you never passed the road sign?
No.
No. Well, that's all I know about it.
Oh.
Is there's a place called that. So anyway, I'll fill you in on Gulliver's Kingdom in a moment.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily, Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show 181215. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
And the good news is Jermaine's back.
Yeah, he's back. It's all good. We found Arj a few weeks ago and now we found another one. We're like Interpol, this show.
In many regards.
Gulliver's Kingdom. So I've never been there. I only know it by road sign.
Well, we've had a tweet about
like
it.
Billing Aquadrome.
We had a tweet about it, Frank.
Oh, okay.
Spent many happy days as a child in Gulliver's Kingdom. There was an ace rocket simulator. I imagine it's aged horribly.
Well, I haven't been there, but I fancy doing it there because I always wonder when I drive past whether they're covering the whole of Gulliver's Travels or it's the old traditional Chapter 1. 'Cause, in Chapter 1 he's the big guy, in
Yes.
Chapter 2 he's the small guy, in Brobdingnag, and then in I say chapter, and then in the third section it's the Hoomanims and the Yahoos. It's about reason and instinct.
Yes.
So I thought, do they cover all 3 sections at Gulliver's Kingdom? But no, they just do the first one, of course, when it's
do
Big
they?
Gulliver, which everyone thinks about. So I'm not going.
So we're not going to do an OB there?
No, I'm not doing that till they have the battle between reason and instinct section.
Well, we do that every week for them, I suppose. don't
Well,
we?
exactly. Maybe as men we're doing it every day.
Oh, yeah. You're,
Sexist? Maybe. But don't want to talk about it now, all right?
I assumed that
Don't
you
talk
meant
about
men
it on
as
air. You're
in
going to get me into
a
trouble.
different way, men.
I meant men as in
And
mankind.
Yes,
what about if
that's
I
how I
get judged
took it.
now because I didn't speak up?
Oh,
And then they
God.
came for me.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Oh, I hope they do come for me.
Exactly.
What about your question? If death and money... Oh, no, we've done that. You've chosen your co-presenter.
Oh.
You chose, for Absolute Radio, you chose
Yeah, I
Christian
see.
O'Connell.
Yeah. Couldn't go wrong.
And did you actually
Wicks.
answer all
He
of
brings
this?
Wicks with him, of course.
Did you answer
I
all
could
of
do
them?
with a plane.
What about
for-
this question, Frank? Which comedians aren't doing radio that should be?
Well, we didn't get to that, and I was glad.
Right.
So I think there's more than enough comedians.
There are a lot of
Doing-
comedians.
Yeah, and I think doing radio, and I think they're squeezing out a lot of people who have done radio because they can't do anything else, and that seems unjust to me. So I think there's no more comedians in radio.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Good to have a rule.
Yeah, exactly.
Good to support a cause.
I supported the cause once on
you?
tour.
How did
Yeah,
that go?
yeah, it was all right. I did, I did a bit of Irish singing and stuff.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
part of my act, just to warm them up and stuff.
How's the brother? He always seems a bit...
Do you know why? I don't think he spoke to me on the whole tour.
No.
He was,
Really?
I wouldn't say he was surly, but he was. And I think it's the bitterness of being hanging around with 3 women that look like that and knowing they're completely untouchable to you.
And then you turn up and he's like, more eye candy.
Yeah, and of course they were all over me like a rash.
I'll bet.
Especially if you had that yellow leather hat on.
No, a rash is their other sister. It's spelt E-J-L-N-N-E, like so many Irish names.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, you were talking about the Cause.
Yes.
That's not the only Irish supergroup I'd like to discuss this morning.
Oh, okay.
What about Bono and the missing luggage?
Oh, that...
His private
Bono
jet,
and the
the
missing
door flew
luggage.
off.
Yeah, that sounds... Is that... See, when I read that, I thought, that's really, really dangerous, but that no one seems to be worried about...
Didn't even put a Mayday call in.
No.
There wasn't even a
You'd have to
Mayday.
get it in pretty quick, though, wouldn't you?
They just landed. Just went, oh, well,
I know, but you can't put in a Mayday saying there's a trunk on its way down.
No, I mean for the plane, like, because I think that once a bit falls off a plane, it must affect its balance in the air, mustn't it? Sure.
What about all those Germans waking up with all the slate grey jackets everywhere? All the U2 clothes strewn all over Berlin.
Sorry, I thought Anton Deck had gone down as well. Slate grey jacket's a bit too tight.
What is that?
Yeah. No, it's... I imagine that some part of Bono's luggage will come smashing down in the middle of my CD collection. As his album did on my iTunes.
Well, people probably just thought that it was a clothes drop that you two were doing.
That's
Because they're
right,
in the
yeah.
habit of freebs these days.
Apparently 2 suitcases flew out, one of them just full of leather trousers and one full of talcum powder. That's it. That's all it was.
Yeah, they say it's talcum powder. Where did it drop? Where were we? What
They were
were they
somewhere-
out?
they were
Somewhere
going-
over Germany.
They were
Was
going
it?
from Dublin to Berlin, which, can I say, is a very them route.
It is.
Dublin to Berlin.
Well, you say they, but only Bono from the band was on it. The others were flying at a different point.
No, but they do that, don't they? It's like the royal family. They have to fly separately because if the whole band went down, that would
What,
lose.
the Edge and Bono is like Joe Biden and Barack Obama?
Yeah, that it's true. That
No.
I've heard that before. That you two always fly separately. So if one of them goes down, they can still keep the band going.
Because this
That's
made
like me and Frank.
I mean, I'm not the biggest environmentalist on earth.
Who
but
is?
This immediately?
Al Gore, I suppose.
Al Gore, yeah.
If any other offers, text us 812.
Yeah, who's the biggest
Still banging that drum.
environmentalist?
It's gone off the
Peanut.
boil a bit, hasn't it? Environmentalism.
You've got
You
to.
can't say that!
It was massive 3 years ago, and now it's just 14-year-old kids doing projects about it in school. You know, you go into every classroom now. There's polar bears all over the wall.
Yes.
I never believed it anyway.
I'm not the biggest environmentalist, but I was going, hang on, you've got to feel sorry for people that live in a city with like a car sharing lane like Leeds, where some guy's driving to work picking up Kevin on his way in that he doesn't want to take, and then he's like, you two are travelling in separate Lear jets.
Yes.
What's the
Well,
point of
that's
me
true.
picking Kevin up?
Well, it's a good point.
I've got no
but-
problem with Kevin, but I'm assuming that
No.
someone has got a problem with Kevin.
Yeah,
And
I
they're
don't
still
like
giving him a lift.
advertising those new phones. I mean, how much money do these people? I'm not Kevin Bacon. They have to though, or the band. Obviously, if Bono goes down, the band's not going to carry on without Bono, is he?
Well, they might make a go of it. The Edge, she might have a little personality. And it's never been allowed to come out, because Bono does dominate.
Yeah, you're right.
See, he'd be all right. The Edge would be all right if the door fell off the plane and he had to jump out to safety, because he's always got the beanie on, so he wouldn't lose a lot of his body heat through the head. If he had to live wild for a while.
How embarrassing, though. All their luggage
70%.
everywhere. Y fronts on trees. I can't bear it.
Oh, why fronts on trees? What a holiday that was.
Do you reckon Bono had to just do that thing of just buying loads of new clothes in duty free?
He just called up Anton Deck, didn't he, Frank?
I imagine if Bono's luggage lands in the wrong country, it could trigger an enormous tax bill. If you're not allowed to be there, like for there's places you can only go there for a few days of the year.
Oh.
Otherwise, I wonder if your luggage triggers that.
No, surely not.
But he had an incident the other week. Well, he had an incident recently because he admitted he only wears the shades because he's got glaucoma.
Yes.
Yeah,
Not because,
I don't believe that. Okay,
Frank.
sorry. I think he
you?
wears shades because that's what pop stars do. I don't make him a bad person. You
I
saying
just think he's lying about having glaucoma.
Well, he might have developed it, but I bet you he was wearing the shades before he got glaucoma. What about if it's a bit chicken and egg? What about if wearing the fly shades has caused glaucoma? Mm-hmm. Eh? And there's people all over Germany now wearing them this morning.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We were talking about Bono. We should say what happened is that something like the back door of the plane opened and part of it fell
The
off.
rear
and all his
door.
luggage.
In the aviation industry, my friends in the aviation industry would refer to that as the rear door.
Why
Okay.
are they so problematic about the back door? What's their problem?
Well, you better take it up with them.
Oh, okay. I thought you
no.
corrected it as if there was a big reason.
I'm
like,
not going to. What am I supposed to do? Phone up Heathrow Airport and say I want to talk to someone about the rear door problem. They'll say I think you need some barks. Anyway,
I know from my own experiences on a private jet that
That's how I don't start any stories.
it's a failing. Sometimes one feels one is taking one's life in one's hands.
right? Wow. Well, that's true most days, surely.
No, but I just feel a lot can go wrong. And I understand it is the first one. I've only done it once, and I enjoyed it.
Okay.
On a private jet.
Well, I'm sure Bono has done it many, many times. I think it's a bit of a coincidence that he's been involved in a major news incident the week that
yeah.
Bob Geldof is launching Band-Aid. I mean, they're massive rivals, as we know.
Charity rivals.
Yeah, they are. It's who can, the Care Bears. I call them. It's the ones who can care the most.
Yeah.
And they've had this battle, the Battle of the Irish Care Bears, has been going on, and many people have benefited from it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And then Midger was left out.
Yeah, Midge, and he just didn't fit
Never
in.
got the credit.
Yes, because I don't know about. I've always felt this. I don't want handouts from someone with a pointy sideburn. That's a motto I've tried to live by.
Good to have a rule.
Yeah.
Is he Scottish, Midger?
Oh yes.
Oh.
Why do you ask that? It's not Irish. No, it's I don't know. It's a bit of a coincidence, though, don't you think that?
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
Oh, yes, I know what they're up to. Anyway, let me predict that something will be. By the way, if it landed in my garden,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bono's suitcase, would that be like treasure trove? Is that mine then?
I think
Because that would be an eBay.
I hope to heavens
It
you
would
don't wear
be.
those clothes.
it
No,
would
but
be an eBay.
That would be an eBay explode. It would be like
Ka-ching,
finding
yeah.
treasure, because you could just sell them all the items, and there might be like private stuff and
Some letters. Yeah.
letters.
Diary.
Stuff.
Bono's diary.
Oh, Bono's diary would be brilliant.
His diary, wouldn't it?
There'll be a lot of anger in it.
Monday be caring, Tuesday be more caring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wednesday, Geldof on news again.
Yes. Thursday, become angry about some incident that no one's heard about.
Friday,
Somewhere.
get glaucoma.
Yeah. Yeah. You went a bit northern there. Get glaucoma.
Why did I go northern?
I mean, it would
Sounded
be
like somebody calling for their African servants in an old thing. Get glaucoma. She'll sort this
I
out.
don't know why I did that, because I'm the best at accents in this room anyway.
What?
I'm not
think,
getting into accent war.
I think
Okay.
if Bono's luggage did land in your garden, it could be the trigger for a lawsuit, because he does get a bit litigious about stuff. You know, he sued somebody for keeping a hat and some jeans and a shirt
Yes, he
of
did,
his.
didn't he?
He got
Did
litigious
he?
about it.
Yeah.
So whoever finds that luggage could be in pretty big legal
He sued
bills.
someone for keeping his hat.
Yeah, yeah. It's in the public domain.
It wasn't a leather Christmas crown.
It was-
I haven't been. This isn't entrapment.
yes, it is. It was a mustardy colour. Some said gold.
Well, hold on a minute. I predict this is what will happen: is that part of the plane or the luggage will be found by a farmer. Mm-hmm. Whenever anything drops off a plane, it's always found by a farmer. Now I know they've got more land than we have, but it's a bit of a coincidence.
Yeah.
I think that. Well, first of all, I think they're chances generally, and also When I think of the countryside, I think of abandoned vehicles. So I think they've just ripped the door off an old Austin A40 and say, "Oh, look at this," and then it's on eBay as his private plane. God, honestly.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.
I've been a house guest at Shea Stephen Hall this week. He's
Steve
he's
Hall.
Hall in the house. I stayed with him for a couple of nights this week because I'm in London doing the Soho Theatre, and
I'm coming tonight to see
in
it.
fact we arranged it last week, pretty much on air, didn't we? That
Tickets available?
Tickets still available. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, searing indictment on my career Saturday.
Oh,
anyway,
I don't know. I mean, Saturday night, there's so much choice.
there is a lot to do, isn't there? There is a lot to do. Actually, I'm saying there's tickets still available. I've not checked, but, nevertheless, as you might say, I've been staying there. He sent me several emails about getting in, because I had to go in when he wasn't there. So he gave me the keys, and he
trusty.
sent me about 5 different emails saying, and when you get in, after you've turned that key, then you turn that one.
I was a bit neurotic.
He's a warrior, isn't he?
He's a real
He's had to
warrior.
do the telly, but I felt a bit bad, because near enough the first time that I saw him in the house, when we were both in there the first time...
He was naked.
No.
He never misses an opportunity, I find.
Like some Shaggy song.
I mean, I have lived with him before. I've lived with him at Edinburgh festivals, so I would sort of half expect to see him in his
But that's
boxer
like
shorts.
holiday romance, isn't it?
Indeed.
Well, exactly.
And you don't
Can't
really
get the
get
measure
to
of
know...
a man through that.
You don't
No.
really get to know about another person's actual domestic habits. So something came to the service quite soon. I said, I bought some eggs. And he went, I've got eggs in the fridge. And I went, yeah, but because they were in the fridge, I didn't know if they were any good. Because they're in the fridge.
Yeah.
And I keep mine out of the fridge, and I didn't
Do
want to
you?
look at...
Where do you keep them? In your Downton Abbey larder?
We keep our eggs in the bottom of a ceramic hen. You know, those...
A la bread.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh,
So we
okay.
keep them in there, whereas he keeps them in the fridge, and I just think, they could have been in that fridge for 6 months for all I know. Whereas if you've got them out...
Whoa.
They could have been in the ceramic hen for 6 months.
Exactly.
Yeah, but then you'd...
It's a nice pub. I've spent many a happy hour in there.
You spent 6 months in there once.
Yeah, I did.
Anyway, I thought it was a
Where do
point
you
of
keep your
confrontation.
eggs?
Where do you keep your eggs?
So old. Well, you see, for a start off, what I wouldn't do with my eggs is take them out the box.
Me neither,
Oh.
Frank.
Because that's where the sell-by date is. Then you don't have to speculate on how long they've been somewhere.
And actually, I think they're stamped now, aren't they? I could have just checked his,
Are
because
they
it
stamped with their date?
says it
Oh,
on
we
the
don't
egg.
know. We're 1970s people.
No, we have. You know what cats like? We have like super organic. They have to have poo on them to be acceptable.
Right.
eggs in
The
our
trouble
eggs.
with those is
That
they
could
go
be
off.
arranged.
Yeah.
That's right. I
Why,
love.
why do they have poo on them as well? That's not where they.
Some people didn't
You
like
can
the show.
imagine
I
how
didn't want to say.
confused I was as a child. Because my dad used to keep chickens. Anyway, there's always 2 boxes in our fridge. There's the organic, fabulous organics, which are for Boz.
And then the Birmingham ones.
And then, there's ordinary eggs for me, because the feeling is that my health horse has bolted. So it's not worth me even trying now. I'd just be throwing fuel on the fire. So yeah. But I
The
need
little
the
shelf.
box.
I hate
Well-
people that put them in the plastic shelf, right?
I know that shelf with the indentations for eggs.
Can I just tell you what he
Weirdos.
does, though? Well, I'll tell you what he does. He said, what we do is we rip off the bit of the box that is when you've got it, and we put it in there. So there's just a little...
With the date on.
little bit of box with the date, yeah. So he's got a system, but I just didn't know the system, because he was out when I got there. So I bought my own eggs, and I left him 3. I left him 3 in the box when I went.
I bet you on at least 3 occasions every week they go by the fridge and that bit of cardboard's on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there'll be all egg all over it. And the other thing is, anyone that does that sort of stuff, that level of attention to detail, I'm just saying, it's a bit helping police with their inquiries.
Well, in that bit with the indentations in our fridge, I believe there's a hangover mask in there. You know those hangover masks you put in the fridge? They got liquid in, they keep them cold, and then you put them on. I've got one of those in there.
Oh, yeah, well, I've told you, champagne and eyeliners, that's what I have in my fridge.
In the fridge?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Those masks, they give you like an ice cream headache without the ice cream. The worst of all possible worlds.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Thank you, by the
indeed.
way, to Kitty Riddle for sending me some lovely sweets. Kitty Riddle's shop. Because, the sweets here are not so nice.
Frank got sent some this morning, and he shared them with all of us. Oh, no, he didn't. Still in the box.
I told
Thanks
you
for
about
that.
it. I told you about it.
Thanks for that.
When you frowned and said the sweets here are not so nice, I just glanced, and at the top of your head you have a crown on. It's very difficult. Very difficult to not find you preposterous at this moment.
King for a day.
Oh, he did open the sweet box. Did you see that? Showed us the sweets. That was the cruelty. And said, look at this. This is nice.
Week
and put them away.
After week after week, I've listened to you talking about no carbs, no sugar, and now I don't offer you sweets. I thought I was doing you a favour.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's a good
Of
point.
course you can have...
Hey.
Sorry, sticking in my throat.
David
Singular.
from Bradford has...
I was in Bradford the other night.
Lovely.
Can I tell you my story in Bradford before we get to David?
Okay.
I went into Corrie's.
Lovely.
In Bradford.
So he's texted us.
So when I went in there, I went in and there was a bit of a kerfuffle that I was in there, as you
Oh,
can
yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
Why, pray?
This was in Little
Oh,
Germany.
did you get recognised?
Little Germany in Bradford.
Really?
Yeah. On Hamstrasse.
I don't know
Honestly,
that
I'm not
bit
making
of-
that up.
Were they all
that
wearing
bit of
U2
Bradford.
outfits?
No, and I bought a CD player.
No.
Yeah.
Old school.
$29.99.
Oh, how did you pay? By cheque?
Hanging expense.
And I said to the woman, I said, oh yeah, I'd like one of these, please. She went, really? A great bit of selling.
Brilliant.
Why did you buy a CD player, darling?
Because I get sent lots of CDs for this show. And I listen to every CD I get sent.
Okay.
And so it's good to have on the road with me a little CD player. Because they're getting harder and harder to come by.
Yeah. yeah.
Is it a portable one, then?
Laptops don't even have them, do they now? Laptops, no CD player.
No, well, I actually, they had a CD
You have to purchase
stroke.
an external drive.
Yeah.
What about this? They had a CD stroke cassette player
No.
in there, and the cassette would, you could tape the CDs onto a cassette.
Wow.
Well, that would be useful for me when I like to do the charts on a Sunday.
Yeah, yeah. Encouraging
But
piracy.
that was like 40 quid. I'm not throwing
No,
about
you
that
don't
kind
have
of
to
money.
stretch to that.
Anyway, David
Bradford.
in Bradford.
Yes.
There's good curries in Bradford, I've heard. That's the thing that people said.
I
Okay,
went
how
right.
long's this going to take, this
Go
segment?
on, go on.
I went KFC.
David in Bradford has texted us and said, morning, ceramic hens are where it's at. I love that All Saints song.
Ah,
We have one as well. Perhaps it's a northern thing.
I like the fact that today's texting is where do you keep your eggs, in a ceramic hen or in the fridge? I think that's a good commercial radio texting.
well, should they be in the fridge?
I don't think so. Somebody else said that, they don't put them in the fridge in the supermarket, so why would you put them in the fridge at home?
That's a point.
It's a good rule.
According to a lot of our punters this morning, they should not be in the fridge.
Okay.
Frank, you and I are wrong.
I've been living
In the
it.
box, not in the
People-
fridge.
People-
People
living
keep
a lie.
tomato sauce in the fridge as well. I don't think that's necessary, is
No,
it?
it's not necessarily, but I think we do that as well.
Yeah, it's good we're all different, though, isn't it? Steve Hall has full-fat milk. Yummy.
Does he?
Yeah.
He don't look like he has full
Does
fat
he?
milk.
Absolutely yummy. And I'll tell you what else
Who
he
has
has.
full fat milk these days?
This was a low as a guest.
Does he have Slim Sear bread?
I don't know if I was a good guest, because I
Does he have toffee apples?
fingers.
Things from the past I
Fish
haven't seen
fingers.
for a long time. What about if his fridge is full of, like you had a toffee apple section with indentations? You know that weird shape at the end of a toffee apple, because it's circular, then you get the flat bit
Yes.
on it. They never came up with a way of just having it completely circular.
Why didn't
always
they
had-
shave it off?
I suppose people use it as a stand. It's like...
Maybe it's handy.
It's a handy
Yeah.
stand, isn't it? Yeah.
Always smacked of
It's like a
laziness to me.
plinth, isn't it, really?
I think it's so you
Nice.
can balance stuff on the top of it when you're eating it.
Nice.
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
toffee apples.
As a challenge. Do they still exist, though?
Only seasonally. Only for bonfire night.
Seasonal.
They're only bonfire night, aren't they? Not year-round. They should be year-round, though. Like
Yeah,
mince
let's make
pies.
them year-round. New
I
rule.
I agree.
New rule.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Can I just say, Frank, Charlie, who works on this show, I've just noticed she's doing the scratchies. Whilst we're preparing to go on air, she's doing the scratchies. The scratchy cards.
Oh, good, the scratchy cards. Thank God for that.
All right. Just thought she'd come out in hives or something.
Not
exactly.
only do I not encourage gambling, but I don't like people doing the scratchies. If you're going to do them, can you tick the no publicity box, please? Thank you. We don't want to be
what I
dragged in.
always find is you do that, and then after the rolled up bits of silver paint are on your trousers and on the stuff. You know the stuff you have to scratch up. Yeah, they should have a small, like a little net on the bottom of them for catching that.
Do you ever do the lottery, Frank?
Well, what's the point? It seems wrong, me doing it.
Another
It's
ways
like
to
if
endear yourself to people.
No, you know what I mean? It's like if I went to a soup kitchen, people would think, it's not for you. So, that's what it is, basically. It's a deluxe soup kitchen, the lottery. Anyway. I'm not saying don't do it, by any means. I'm just saying I do worry about, people suddenly getting a massive amount of money.
I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying maybe find something you like and work hard at it instead of doing the scratchies.
Yeah, but what about Rogan Dosh? Do you remember him?
No.
The second bloke to win it was an Indian bloke, and the tabloids nicknamed him Rogue. His name wasn't given out, but they just said he was an Indian man from blah blah, so they called him Rogan Dosh. And he was also known as Vindaloot.
Excellent puns, mind you.
Yes, borderline, but excellent.
Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily, Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
We were talking about me staying at a friend of the show, Steve Hall's. I haven't finished yet. I'm not sure I'm a good house guest. I think I was. I left some chicken bones in the bin. That's fine, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
That's all right. And I left half a pot of beetroot salad in the fridge.
Well, that's a benefit to them,
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. I said, you can have that.
Yeah.
Bottle of wine to say thank you.
I get a hamper normally.
But I did...
Do you?
A hamper?
Well, I have done a hamper in the past, but I was
That would
saying...
be more than a travel lodge. I may as well have not stayed there. What are you talking about?
I did order a hamper for the Rosses, but I had stayed there for 2 months.
Ah, well, see, that would even out as less than a
Wouldn't
travel
you expect minimum hamper after a 2-month stay?
Well, the next, if I
minimum.
stay anywhere recently, I'll probably give them a nice selection of sweets box from Kitty Riddles.
But I did
What I
steal.
usually do, I usually put a pound piece in each of the egg indentations in the fridge.
Nice.
Do you know what I do? I strip the beds.
Do you?
I'm immaculate.
Oh, I didn't do that.
I leave a little spritz of perfume as well as a calling card.
You're kidding me.
They always
No.
think of me then, when they go in that room.
I did not do that.
No, I wouldn't strip the beds. You don't know what you're going to find here on people's mattresses.
And in fact...
Have you
it's,
ever seen an unstained mattress? I don't think I ever have. And I've stayed in some fine homes.
I did steal whilst there. I
Whoa!
did a little
hey.
bit of... I did a little bit of low-level petty theft, I'll be honest with you.
You stole from Steve Hall?
I did, in a way, yeah, in a way. I mean, I'd be interested to know on the moral maze on this.
What did you steal?
I was having a shower on the morning of the second day there, and I spotted just in the on the plinth, the bath. I thought, Johnson's
A
baby
wristwatch.
shampoo. Johnson's baby shampoo.
Oh,
I thought,
yeah.
I'm having that. That's going on the hair and the beard. So 2 days in a row, I stole from the baby that's very young. I mean, it's
Oh,
young
it's
to be
actually
a
the
victim.
baby's baby shampoo.
Young to be a victim of crime, isn't it, from me? Is that bad? Because I've been
You're
meaning
quite
to
young
get some
to need
soft...
shampoo.
I suppose so, yeah.
Yeah, but it's quite hirsute, Steve.
Unless
Yeah.
it is Steve's, unless he's using the baby shampoo.
Does the baby
Steve
have
doesn't
some-
really need shampoo.
Does the baby have hair?
The baby wasn't there. I haven't met the baby. I stole from a baby I haven't even met. That's terrible, isn't it? But yeah, I had it.
I think that's
Fully-
better.
Fully shampooed the beard.
Oh, it looks lovely and
Thanks
fluffy.
very much. Thank you.
Yeah, it's Sprighton. I'll tell you what I do. I've noticed it now. People get edgy about it. I'm a bit of a bookcase psychologist. So whenever I go around anyone's house, I really, in some detail, stare at the bookcase because I think you can learn a lot from people by that.
Totally.
And people, they say stuff like, someone bought me that Joe Swash autobiography, and stuff like that, you know, and have you read it? Swash Pit. It's excellent.
I do that.
But I'm so fascinated
Imagine
by
the
people.
embarrassment when people have seen He's Just Not That Into You.
Yeah.
Or it's called a breakup because it's broken.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, I
I
know.
don't really want to see that.
Yeah, just get rid of those books. It's the next time the local BNP branch have a burning,
Yeah.
take them down there and get rid of them. That's my advice.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had a text
What?
in.
Oh, sorry, we've had a text in. Go on.
We've had a text in from 179. I'm pretty cheery to read this. This is a good text. Frank, dear Frank, that Dave you work with on Absolute 80s has the dullest voice ever. The Grim Reaper has a sweeter voice. I don't know who that Dave is, but oh my God. Poor guy. That poor guy.
Who can that be?
Who could that be? I wonder who that is.
Maybe they're listening to the old World Cup podcast.
I think it might be that I've been misnomered. Is that right? Misnomered? Miss
Can you
non-deplumed?
say Miss No? I don't know.
I'm going with
I
it.
just think that's so rude, calling you Dave.
Unless it's you.
I mean,
I
the
might be
other
calling
stuff,
you Dave.
Fair enough.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it could be you. Could
What
be
if it's
me.
me? I do sound quite masculine.
Dave. Anyway,
Anyway, thanks 179. Have a good day.
let's go travelling. Email corner. Sorry,
Okay.
I've accidentally played the old version of Email Corner.
Oh, accidentally.
No need to
No, it was
apologise. It's a little
accident.
bit nostalgia.
Yeah, it was a walk.
Probably
Not
got-
only into, we went to Email Corner via Memory Lane.
We did.
Why not? Why not?
Sorry, Em. Do you want me to play yours as well?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Either one will do. They both feature me.
I can't find it.
Okay, you don't have to do it. I'll sing it instead.
Okay.
No,
Go on
I
then.
won't.
Okay, go on.
No. This is from Louise.
I felt that Emily wanted us to persuade her a bit longer, but we didn't.
Like I was on the Desert Corner show.
Exactly, yeah.
This is from Louise. She says she's referring to Flying Ant Day. Do you remember we've discussed this before, Frank?
Oh, yes, I was talking about whether it occurred on the same... that I wish I'd noted it in my diary, because I'd like to know if it was on the same day every year.
Yeah.
Well, Louise says, I do indeed keep a log of Flying Ant Day, and have done
You
for
are-
10 years.
You
10 years.
What? Louise, you're my kind of gal.
Love it.
It usually falls on the 17th, the 18th, or the 19th of July, but this
Brilliant.
this year, I'm sorry, it was a week early and arrived on the 11th July, which, FYI, is my birthday. Can I just say?
Damn global warming. Sounds everything.
The
Yeah.
reason I notice is because it often coincides with my husband's birthday on the 18th of July, and I like to see how far it varies. I
That's
never imagined
fantastic.
that others would be interested in this information. Me neither. But I'm now wondering
I'm the opposite of
about a
that.
blog so that others can access the information as required.
Brilliant. Brilliant
That's
idea.
totally the way to go.
The Flying Ant blog.
Flying Ant blog.
See, if I did keep a
Again,
log
a
of something like
great
that,
band.
And it's the log and the blog. I like it.
Yeah?
I would totally imagine people are interested in that.
Yes.
If I made a note of it, I wouldn't shut up about it. I'd be telling people in the pub, I'd be having a chat on trains going, you won't believe what date the
Yeah.
Flying Ant started this year.
It's a big, it's a big deal.
Brilliant.
I mean, as a child, I used to collect all their discarded wings. And now I use them to make sunglasses for my Bono action figure business.
Nice.
Yeah. No, but I think what we're all missing here is it's an incredible event, Flying Ant Day.
Yeah.
Yes. You're right.
For a start
Just
off,
one day.
For a start off, what on earth is a flying ant? You never
Yeah.
should have been. They're not flying ants, are they? They're basically ants that have somewhere they've got these things from, these flying machines. They just go out for the day, and it's an event. It's like ants that we've seen around the house and not noticed. They all get on their microlights for one day and off they go.
You've got ants around your house.
Oh yeah, I've got ants in my house, as everyone. I've got 4, I think.
All right.
Have you?
Yeah, I've marked one as a control, but unleaded paint in case anyone's worried. No, but isn't it a I'd really like to know, how do they tell each other that it's Flying Ant Day? How do they know?
Good point.
It's incredible. All we
Why
ever
isn't-
hear about is the stupid dolphins. This thing under our nose.
Frank, don't say that.
No, but this has been going on under our nose. More wondrous than any dolphin activity.
More
have you ever
wondrous?
seen one of them with wings? No. And yet no one even talks about it. Well, Louise, let's start the revolution here. I don't mean like in a Russell Brand way. I mean in a flying ant way.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We've had various texts in about flying ant days and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Good.
Hi all, long-time listener. To clarify, these days are well known in Norway, at least, as hundedager, translated dog days. It's midsummer when the temperature is highest, cream won't set, oysters shouldn't be eaten, things go off easily, and ants fly. So there, from Sophie.
So why dog days? The one thing that they're not involved with.
I don't know.
Because there's a film, isn't there, Dog Day Afternoon?
Oh.
I believe there is, yeah.
I kind of thought it was like really hot, which is what they suggest. Is that what the dog thing is? That dogs won't go out because it's hot? Mad
Maybe.
Dog's an Englishman.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? Hot dogs.
Yeah.
It all makes sense.
We've had a text in from Paul Goss.
Oh,
I
yeah?
don't know if he's one of the albino
The
Goss
Gosses.
twins,
Oh, yeah, of course.
but he's from Kettering. He says, "Hi, Frank was just saying he wants
I always
to know."
thought that too many gosses spoil the broth. Sorry.
Paul says, "Hi, Frank was just saying he wants to know about flying ants. I used to work for Rentokil, and I know all about them. Call me if you like, Paul." He's done a smiley face as well.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the branch of knowledge I want to know. They're annihilation.
I think you should call him though.
The rent-a-car get
He might be a
involved with
nice friend
flying
for
ants.
you.
They're only around for a day. Can't
Yeah,
people put up with them
exactly.
for a day?
I'm fine with them for a day.
I'd like them all year round.
We've had a text from Gary. Morning all, I love listening to the show with or without Frank. Oh, awkward, I should have read that before.
Don't read that bit out.
He continues, Alan, you shouldn't use hair shampoo on your beard. It's not designed for facial hair and can dry it out. You need to get a beard shampoo and some beard oil. I did make some hints about beard oil on the show a few weeks ago, but I've not been sent any.
This is from Paul, Beard Oil Inc.
Hopefully. I know this as I'm growing a good crop of facial hair at the moment. Can I just say,
I bet he reads popular science books.
I think it's fine to use the baby shampoo for the beard. I don't think that's too...
Well, let me ask you a question here. Do babies have beards?
Depends on the baby.
That is a good point.
Depends on the baby.
Oh, that's
Does
a
it?
really good point
Yeah.
you've made
Well,
there.
some babies have beards.
Well, some babies have.
I think, well, you've seen
lot
a
of face.
publicity shot of Al Murray and got confused. No, I it doesn't sound...
Some babies are hairy.
Yeah, but they don't have beards. You just don't see baby with
No, I
beards.
see it. What about that baby with the Elvis quiff? I love that baby.
Who was that?
I was in the Sun or one of the papers.
Yeah, well,
I
that
read.
would have been added.
There was some praise about me at the end of that email, and Alan left it out.
Oh, I thought
Thank
we were
you.
still talking about beards.
No.
Hang
he was
on.
very nice. He said, thank you. No, we don't need to say what he said, but just say thank you, Gary. Let's leave it at that.
All right, fair enough.
Thank you, Gary. I'm suggesting I don't come out of it that well, but thank you anyway. What else?
Oh, we need to read another email, Frank. 'cause
Oh,
we're still
do
in
we?
email corner,
I'm
yeah.
up for it.
Okay, your turn, Alan, please.
Okay, well, people love my voice, so let's do it. Morning, Frank
Can you
Emmenal.
just give me one Toby Jones?
Toby Jones.
Fantastic.
Morning, Frank Emmenal. On many an occasion, I've heard Frank state he doesn't believe in fainting, and I agreed, believing it to only happen in films for dramatic effect. This morning, I went to my local doctor's in Melbourne to get an immunisation for travelling to Asia. After successfully conquering my fear of needles, I stood up feeling great, and then... ... we get a dramatic ... I opened my eyes to find I was lying under a table surrounded by 4 doctors placing numerous pillows under my legs, my boyfriend holding my hand as pale as anything and asking the doctors had I just been asleep, but no.
But this happened to me twice a week in the 80s.
I'd not decided that a doctor's in St Kilda was the perfect place for a
St
mid-morning nap.
Kilda.
No.
I love St Kilda. All those little houses with the sort of Regency wrought iron
Oh, nice. They sound
balconies.
nice.
Beautiful. It's like Camden on Sea.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Frank, fainting is real. I've got the cut on my head to prove it. My favourite part of the experience, if you can have one, is that one of the doctors ran out of the room and came back saying, since you fainted, you can have a free copy of my book.
Well,
Which
that's guilt, isn't it? Something's gone on there. I bet you they're testing horse tranquiliser on the site.
Exactly.
They've given it her, she's collapsed, and they've had to come up with some sort of, keep her sweet kind of thing.
He signed it to Claire the Fainter, which is a nice...
That's rather personal.
Personalised.
Yeah, the fainter in inverted commas, because it doesn't really exist. That's what he's done.
That's Claire, originally from Liverpool, living in wonderful Oz. Well done.
Yeah, I think she... Maybe that's what fainting is. People are very, very tired, and it's just fast-track sleeping.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
Frank, you know what we haven't discussed this morning? What about Kim Kardashian? Did you see those pictures?
I did see those pictures. I think
Now,
yes.
you two are both happily married men in successful relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So I would imagine that you weren't ogling.
No, I
you
wouldn't
must have
say.
seen
I
them.
wasn't Tina ogling. I would say that I think one can discuss such things in an aesthetic point of view. I once had a long conversation over breakfast with Sir Peter Blake about Grace Jones's bottom.
Did you?
And he discussed it in artistic terms.
Did he really? All right,
he
then.
did. It's the least sexist conversation about a woman's bottom I've ever had in my life.
And of course, Grace Jones was in the original versions of these photographs, wasn't she?
Oh, look! Oh, is that what it's based on?
Yeah.
Well,
it's the same.
That never occurred to me.
It's the same chaps, the same photographer.
Is
so
it?
It's not even.
That's
stolen.
a weird coincidence, then.
It's not that much of a coincidence.
Well, it is, and I'm talking about Grace Jones's bottom.
Yes,
yeah. Obviously,
true
it had ticked some little subliminal memory.
Yes.
They're very different bottoms, though.
They are.
But we'll get on to that.
True.
And there were 3 different images.
Yeah.
One was...
some more suitable for work than others.
Well, it depends where you work.
Mm-hmm.
There's no easy way of saying this one was full frontal.
Yes,
true.
I've only seen, can I say, the censored thing, and that's enough for me.
Mm-hmm. I've not. I've seen the others.
Have you seen the one with the champagne glass on the bottom?
Yes.
Okay, what did you feel about this?
Well, I'll tell you what that reminds me of.
One at a time.
Okay.
You'll go have your go in a second, Frank.
Okay.
To help, in case you haven't seen them, what the idea is that she has a champagne, a bottom is like, it forms a small table, and you put the champagne glass on it, and then you open the champagne, fire it up over your back, and catch it in the champagne glass. Is that a fair thing?
Yes, although it's odd that you're describing it in a sort of user's manual fashion.
Well, I'll tell you why.
One-off incident.
Because it reminded me of... I don't know if this might be before your time, guys, but there was a time when you learned to drive, one of the things you used to do, not on a lesson, but with friends, is that you had to change gear and all that with a pint of beer on your bonnet.
Was that
wow?
right?
Without spilling the beer.
Different times.
So it was different times when beer and driving were constantly entwined. But yeah, that used to be a little test of your clutch control.
Right.
So I wonder if it was something like that.
Maybe it was.
Ah, see, I saw it, and her firing that cork and the big spray of champagne and it landing right in the glass on her bottom, and it reminded me very much of how I lost my job as head waiter in the old corn mill.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was around 96, something like that.
Yeah, what was it? It was smears on the glasses.
Yeah, well, I couldn't get it to perch because I haven't got the shelf, so I had to sort of break the base off and just pinch.
Oh, no.
Nowadays, you could call me.
Well, nowadays I could do it with a pipe mug.
Dimpled.
Such as I've settled.
Yes, and the mug.
Yeah, well, but the car thing, though, it does fit, doesn't it? Because she's, I believe the modern term, one would say that she had junk in her trunk, is that correct?
That's what they say.
Can I own up and say the first time I heard that phrase used, I thought they meant that the person wanted to go to the toilet.
What's wrong with you?
Well, because junk suggests something that one wants to...
get rid of.
Yeah, unload.
Yes, yes.
So...
that doesn't mean that.
I thought it was some awful excretory car boot sale. Maybe we'll have a break here.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, someone has tweeted us
Oh, yeah?
and said, Frank, who is that with you on the radio this morning? Nina Mishkov. Now,
Oh.
that either... that either refers to me or Daisy.
Or the cockerel. Could be yet more attacking me, but I think
be.
it's pretty obscure if it's claiming that I'm Nina Mishkov.
Yeah,
Nina.
still, you know, it's not a bad thing to be Nina Mishkov.
I like that we both had haters, though.
Yeah, haters
Haters
gonna
gonna hate!
Paul Goss has
Paul
tweeted...
Goss of Rento Kill formerly.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Currently living in the Kettering area, I believe.
Oh, okay.
here.
He
Probably
has
make shoes now.
sent us a full and thorough explanation re flying ants.
Excellent.
Okay.
Would you like to hear it?
If it's full, do you want me? So I want some music under
Give
it.
me a little sound bed,
We're going to
Frank.
say now for the science
Okay,
bit.
let's see what
Give me
we
a little
got.
bed.
Flying ants. Let's see what I've got that's relevant. Let's try
Okay.
this. Go for it.
Okay, briefly, all the flying ants are females. The ant nest is similar to a bee or wasp nest in that it has a queen and workers.
Okay.
When the weather is at its warmest and atmospheric pressure correct, the queen lays only female eggs, which hatch, and the females fly from the nest pre-impregnated with eggs.
Oh, so they go out spreading.
That's right, Frank. After a certain distance, the wings fall off and the large female falls to the ground. Seen that happen a few times and people have been drinking.
Yes.
And will then find a new nest site where she will lay her eggs and start a new colony. I hope this helps. Paul.
So new nest for every flying ant. There is a new
This
nest.
is music just forever now when we do the show.
That is fascinating. So every flying ant is a potential new ant nest.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what to say. Kim Kardashian, ladies and gentlemen, where were we?
Oh, yeah. What did you think? You see, I loved it.
Well, I liked it. I think they were great photographs. I mean, I don't think it's front page news to say this, but she's photogenic, isn't she? I mean, she is photogenic.
Is she, though?
Isn't she?
Is she?
Isn't she?
I don't, for a start off, I've never, like, some people think that it looks great to be oiled.
Yes.
They think, oh, that's so sexy, baby oil.
You know why she had the baby oil on, though?
They do, people do, they get
That's
oiled.
so sexy.
No, I don't
I know
like
why
it.
she had the
Makes-
baby
I
oil
look
on
at her
her.
and I think it would be like holding liver. You embrace her.
We won't pass that on.
I know why she had the baby oil on. She was staying at a mate's house that's recently had a baby, and she saw it on the shelf. And
yes.
she thought,
That
I'm
wouldn't
going to
surprise-
build
No,
me
she had
boots on
someone
here.
employed just to do that, to apply the oil.
Good gig.
Blimey.
It's a good gig.
Are you...
I just look at that and think, oh, imagine if she sat on the sofa, you'd be very anxious, wouldn't you?
Yes.
You'd have to get a new throw.
That'd be a big dry cleaning bill if she sat on the sofa.
We should also say it was an attempt to break the internet, wasn't it? She was saying
Yeah, she said
hashtag
that.
break the internet. Now,
What's he sat on a laptop?
I mean, I do think that's a bit selfish. Trying to break the internet by putting on photos of a naked body. It's a bit
Apparently
selfish.
someone at the magazine said she wasn't meant to go full frontal. Said she was going to take off her clothes and one thing led to another.
No.
Really?
Doesn't it always?
But break the internet, I had to get some...
What does she mean, break the internet?
Just so that it would go into a spasm
viral.
because so many people would be using it to pass around these pictures of her bum.
She loves herself, that one.
Bit selfish though. I had to get some
Old woman
insurance
in
quotes
Birmingham
this
over
week.
the fence.
Why?
I had to get some insurance quotes for my motorcycle, and she's trying to break the internet, and I'm going to end up having a phone
Sorry,
call
we're talking about
centres.
something really glamorous, Kim Kardashian. You've turned it into motor insurance.
She's trying to
for your
break the
bike.
internet. We
Yeah,
use
but
the
I don't think it's
internet.
going to be on the same site.
What if you had to do some online banking and she's there breaking the internet? It's not
Yes,
fair.
it's not online banking I'm worried about.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We haven't really talked about Kanye's feelings about his wife, Kim,
What do you think
putting
he
these
saw?
pictures. Well, I think people were saying that he approved because he tweeted a picture of his wife's derriere, let's say, quite substantial derriere, and he put hashtag all day, which people were saying that that's him saying that he approves of it. Like, I think he's sort of saying that he could look at that all day, like it's a
Well,
nice
he gets
thing.
to.
Okay.
I thought there might be a little bit of 70s misogyny attached to it, like, she sits on that all day.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
That's why it's so big. Is there not a bit of that?
it might be.
Well,
It's very confusing, Kanye. He's quite cryptic, isn't he, when he wants to be?
I'm derriere intolerant, I think, as far as this. Can I ask you a question?
You're not a big Curves fan, let's be honest.
No, I do.
No, Zola Budd is your ideal woman, Frank.
Anyway, let me ask a question. This is a serious question about social history.
Okay, I'm your person then.
I feel now, if a woman has an enormous bottom, a woman in the, I mean, I don't mean a fat woman. I mean a slim woman with an enormous bottom, and in the media.
I wonder what that would be like.
Yes, in the media.
Hello.
I think they're seen as being, one of the sister.
Yes.
Because you got a big bottom. Sorry, I accidentally did the accent then. I withdraw that accent. But
Wow,
you know what I
of
mean?
all the accents you've done on the show over the years, that's the one you're withdrawing.
Yes,
Unbelievable.
Nevertheless, it becomes a sign of real street kind of.
Yeah.
Whereas if a woman now has enormous breasts, she's seen as some kind of fool.
Yes.
Now, when did the bottom get this status? How did that happen? And
Why are you
bottom's got
lamenting the
top
fact that
billing,
it's
isn't it?
now acceptable
I'm
to
not
have a big
lamenting.
bottom?
I'm just thinking it's an interesting social phenomenon.
As
that
someone who
suddenly-
had to tie a jumper around her waist for years,
Yes.
and now I don't. So I'm very happy about that.
Yes.
Because you can't have a go at someone for having a big bum, whereas you used to be able to, so I'm
But
afraid
you
that
can,
insults.
if they got big breasts, and what they are often dismissed as extremely foolish. Would you agree with that?
Maybe you're right. You might
Yeah,
have
whereas
one.
a big bottom is seen as a great sign of prestige.
Maybe we will stop with page 3 in the tabloids and we could have page 6, just a big picture of a bum
Yes.
every day.
Yeah.
That could be
Also-
progress, couldn't it?
Also, ultimately on the hygiene subject,
Hang.
surely breasts are a safer area to be.
Interesting.
Fetishising.
Yes.
Cleaner.
Well,
It takes all sorts. We're all
Yes.
God's children, Frank.
Can I? I believe that. Can I ask? But does that apply to, say, I don't know, if people have bum implants now?
They do, yeah. I
Is
don't know why you're looking at me as if I have.
well, any man who's used beard shampoo is on the brink of a bum implant.
I'd love it. If Alan had a bum implant next week, I would love that.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
By the way, the fact that she's famous for junk in the trunk.
Yes.
Is Kardashian, is that a pun on car dashboard?
No.
Don't think so, no.
The whole thing
I think it's her name,
isn't
isn't
a
it?
pun on like car-based.
No.
Okay, I always like to get to that.
Is this how we're ending the show? With
Yeah, I'm happy to end on any kind
Are you
of...
going to end it like this?
That's fine.
That's
I like-
awful.
I like that. It's like Wagner, end on an incompleted movement. Which, no, I'm leaving it there.
Go on, go on, do it.
I'm leaving it there.
Oh.
I'm leaving it there. Look, thank you so much for listening today. And as my son said this week, I want to say goodbye now.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.